So after the bitter defeat to Chelmsford last week, you mentioned you'd be making some changes. Can you talk us through those changes you made?
Yeah, of course I can. Well, we made a change in goal, which wasn't really personal towards Pat. It was more of a case of the fact that we'd conceded the 7 goals in 2 games, and although he wasn't directly at fault for the goals, I just felt that a change was needed of mentality. Um, and the lad that I brought in, Samuel, he's a confident lad. And had done well in the previous 2 games for us. And I just felt that was important to bring a new feeling into the back 5 from the goalkeeper. And sometimes you have to take a goalkeeper out of the firing line to save him from what may have been a game under immense pressure, for instance. And I think that was the right decision looking back. So that was one change. We made another change at centre half. We brought in Ryan Henshaw from Bishop Stortford, a player I've known very well. I played with him at Sudbury, and he's a very dominant type. And I just again felt that that what we needed was someone who was more dominant in attacking the ball. And Ryan just wants to defend, and he had a fantastic debut. So I was delighted with him, and then that freed the right back up to move Sam Robbins into right back. Again, not a reflection on how Marcus has been playing. More of a case of just the horses for courses. Sam is quite a natural sweeper type defender who reads danger. I just felt again with the changes in personnel, but more tactically if anything else, they weren't down to not playing well. They were down to tactical. In midfield, I brought in Jack Thomas again from Bishop Stortford, a player that I've liked for a while. I've watched him develop throughout the years. Loads of energy, very very big character for a young man. I think he's got a lot of potential. I'm a big fan. What he gave us was intensity, competitive edge, and although him and Ryan hadn't played for 6 weeks. I have to tip my hat to them, personally, because they must be keeping themselves fit to both play 90 minutes on Saturday, and they were excellent.
And there was a lot of calls for Thomas to be man of the match as well from some people. So
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
made an
personally,
impression.
yeah, I think if you're having to pick one player ever so slightly ahead of the rest, because as I said to the boys very quickly after the game, I said it was a real team effort. But Jack, for me, was a little bit of a standout, just purely his intensity. It just stood out for me, but ever so slightly above the rest.
So obviously 2-1 against the league leaders is something very special. What was can you just talk us through what you did to make sure that was the result?
Well, we did do an awful lot of work on it. I have to say that we all did as a management team and the players. We obviously knew it was going to be a very tough game. And I was more concerned about had we learned a lesson from Chelmsford, having been in a strong position at half time, away from home at 2-0. You should be coming home with a point there. And we have to learn quick. And I'm looking for characteristics. I'm looking for performances that are similar each week. I don't want up and down performances. I certainly don't want an up half and a down half. I don't want that. So I have to say, we prepared for consistency. Yes, we had a game plan, which most managers will say they had a game plan, but we certainly had a game plan that was informative, quite detailed. You worry about making changes and then giving a game plan because there's a lot going on there. But the new players understood, and I thought we carried it out extremely well. Listen, they're a very very good side. In fairness to Dartford, they're a good team, and you can see why they'll be up there. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Good team, good manager, experienced both in playing staff and manager, and they'll be there or thereabouts. So it was more of a case of dealing with them and getting to a point in the game where we felt maybe we could go and express ourselves now as a manager, a management team. We have to make sure we learn and not to overpraise at half time when there's only half a job done. So I wanted to tell them well done. They got a very brief pat on the back, but I made it very clear that we have done nothing yet, and it'll be a tougher this half than it was the first. Of course, we scored the second goal, and and we're good value for it. We were. They weren't cutting us open or making chance after chance. Far from it. I was really, really pleased with the discipline within the performance. There was a real discipline, individually, collectively, a real work ethic, positivity, all of the things you need to have to win a game against the likes of a team of Dartford. And they get a penalty, which it does look like a penalty. I have to be honest. It does look like a penalty at the time. I thought it was, and then afterwards I've watched it back and seen it again, and it's not. So I feel sorry for Ryan. But to be fair, the ref, I would have given it on the day. It just shows you the advantage of a replay. But 2-1, we're obviously going to hang in. Although we said that, we should have wrapped the game up. Johnville obviously gets an opportunity, in their centre half or fullback, gets straight red. But we hung in, and to be fair, we were worthy of the win. But yeah, it wasn't plain sailing towards the end, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what was the reaction from everyone in the changing room after the match?
Buoyant. Very, very, very happy bunch, let's put it that way. I think, again, I'll say it's a little bit bittersweet. I swiftly moved on from it, to be honest, because I know it's you got to move on quickly. But bittersweet in terms of the previous games. I felt as if we've beaten Dartford, but it's just balancing itself out because we threw a game away against Chelmsford. But I have to look for progression, and there's been loads of it. The team or the club haven't been 2-0 up this season at half time. So it's something new for people. I understand that, but so yeah, absolutely delighted. We were absolutely delighted. And all the hard work we put in had paid off over a course of 90 minutes throughout the week. But as I told the players pretty quickly afterwards, I said we have another game now on Tuesday, and it's just as hard a game. Oxford City are a very good side. So although very, very happy, not getting carried away with ourselves, that's for sure.
So speaking of that game against Oxford City, how are you preparing the lads for that?
Well, I mean, we've got obviously not long to rest in between, really. For some of the boys, particularly the Dartford boys, you haven't played. They're now potentially involved in 2 games in a short period of time. So we've added a strength and conditioning coach in Glenn Warwick, who's been doing some great work with the boys this last couple of weeks. I'm just starting to see us looking a bit fitter all over the pitch, and the boys are tapping into that. So he's given them some information on how to recover between games. So although no actual injuries as such, a couple of knocks, but nothing to call an actual injury, there'll be some tired legs. So luckily enough, we've got some boys who are ready to go if need be. But preparations are underway and have been since yesterday. And I think that the boys are looking forward to another tough test. I've got a lot of respect for Oxford. Very good footballing team, very good side. I'm a big admirer of them, so I know what we're facing, and it'll be another measuring stick to see where we're at in this league.
Okay, yep, that'll be all. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you very much, Scott. Pleasure.